Well, we have to start the news, and it's from the courts. Defense lawyers in the trial of 10 coup suspects have criticized state prosecutors for delaying the trial, while Martin Pebu said the prosecutors only come to court to mark registers. Victor Adaudu said the prosecutors are only gaining notoriety for always asking that accused persons be remanded pending the conclusion of investigations. The state on Wednesday merged its case against the 10, including top COP or Commissioner of Police, ACP Dr. Agojo, as the Kaneshi District Court remanded them into the custody of the police and military. Court correspondent Joseph Akable brings us more.
The defense lawyers had earlier demanded that clear timelines be imposed on when prosecutors must conclude investigations to enable trial commence. The issue came up once again on Wednesday as state prosecutors requested for more time to continue with investigations. Defense lawyer Victor Adaudu is unhappy.
We are still saying that what they ought to do and they must be doing, they are not doing it. That's why my colleague was saying that we just come here to mark register and say, because the concept of automatic remand, you come, they just remand you. Whether the facts links the people or not, that is what. And that's the situation we found ourselves. But I have been saying every time, human rights and good governance are attributes of democracy. And you see, if they actually want to prevent or protect the security of this state, a case like this, a high profile, there should be a speedy trial to endanger public confidence so that rumor mongering and the rest stops. The court must also educate the public and even commentators what the court is doing, what is the position of the law. Because if we don't do it, like, people will lose trust and confidence in the courts. And I think it is not, it's a duty for all of us that we put our trust in the courts and make sure that the court will do what is needful. I can tell you that they won't do it. Let 4th December come and we'll see. They said they are doing investigation. The new facts they brought, they've added, have you seen any new set of facts coming from the investigation? Till date, they've not gone to, there's no investigation that they've invited any of the accused people, asking them questions again, or going to their houses. All they are doing is to look at people who are on the platform, or people who are families, or people who are related. Even if one of the accused says, I'm in love with you, a lady, they invite the lady, come and ask. If they find the name on the phone, then they say, come to BNI. It's like a joke.
Another defense lawyer, Martin Pebu, slammed prosecutors, saying they only come to court to mark registers. He said the state had been investigating the matter for 15 months, a period sufficient for elephants to have offspring. He made these comments after the court had turned down his request for ACP Agojo to be discharged as state prosecutors merged the case against him with that of 9 others. Disappointed relatives once again poured libation.
Now, a driver and his mate, both found guilty by the Weija court for assaulting a police constable in the line of duty, have been spared jail time. This was after the Ghana Private Road Transport Union settled their court fine of 3,600 cedis. The two would have served a 1-year jail term each if the fine had not been paid. Francis Boabing and Albert Anda were captured in a viral video having a brawl with a police constable, Julius Mauli Ekpe, at Malam Junction earlier this year. PSA Nana Yao Safo was in court, and this is his report read to you.
The heavy blows landed a driver and his mate into trouble. They were held before the Weija Circuit Court for assaulting a police constable. They pleaded not guilty to charges leveled against them, insisting the police officer assaulted them first. After 8 months of trial, the presiding judge, Justice Bernard Benchel, found Francis Boabing, 26, and Albert Ansah, 33, guilty of assaulting a police officer in line of duty. They were fined 1,800 cedis each or serve a 1-year jail term. Lawyer Cynthia Nimwampedu is lead counsel for the accused.
Self-defense, which is what we pleaded, is not available to the accused persons, and so they were convicted. After that, what we did was to try to plead for leniency so that, we don't get a harsh punishment. So we did that. The courts, of course, graciously was lenient and then sentenced them to a fine. You're supposed to pay a fine of 150 penalty units, otherwise suffer a term of imprisonment. Honestly, we are not satisfied with the outcome of the ruling. So what we will do is to apply for a copy of the judgment, we'll study it and then advise ourselves on the way forward.
Meanwhile, Amnesty International Ghana has expressed disappointment with the verdict. Here's Samuel Abuche, who is in charge of campaigns.
From the judgment we just heard, we are deeply disappointed. But we respect the judgment of the court. Their earlier custody with the police was not something very pleasant. They were beaten, they were assaulted in the custody of the police.
Ghana Private Road Transport Union came to the rescue and settled the fine, making it possible for the two to walk home free.
It is our responsibility to continue educating our drivers. Yes, of course. We are not saying any driver should fight a uniformed personnel, but as human beings that they are, they will never hesitate to defend their rights. But we've spoken to them, we've asked them to do the right thing at the right time. Even if a uniformed person attacks you, there is a way to go about it. Look for witnesses and report the conduct of that uniformed personnel. We are most grateful, and we thank Ghana for supporting us. Ever since the issue cropped up, it has slowed the bad police MTTU personnel, the bad ones.
Any lessons learned? PSC and Anaya Osafo's report for JoyNews.
The opposition NDC is taking a dig at government over what it claims the MPP's poor management of the economy, saying the NDC rather managed the economy better. Well, Moas Castle Atoforsen says, contrary to claims by the finance minister, that they put some 12 billion Ghana cedis into the pocket of ordinary Ghanaians, they have rather taken a total of some 27 billion Ghana cedis. At a public forum on the 2020 budget at the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences, he accused government of deliberately starving some statutory funds like the District Assembly Common Fund, the GET Fund and others of much-needed resources. Maxwell Ogbagba was there for JoyNews.
Trainees are also suffering. Students are suffering. Traders are suffering. Businesses are suffering. In fact, pensioners are suffering.
The ranking member of Parliament's Finance Committee, Kesel Atuforsen, mimicking one of Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia's speeches prior to the 2016 elections. He described government's claim of putting 12.2 billion Ghana cedis into the pockets of Ghanaians as a great hoax and an illusion far from reality.
I call this the great hoax, the great deception. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not true that they have given us 12.2 billion Ghana cedis. The reality is that they have increased a number of prices. One is the fuel price. They have increased transport fares. We have seen an unwarranted increase in utility prices, distortions and burdensome taxes such as the communication service tax. I will factor in tax increases to the scenario. And if we are to factor tax increases to the scenario, you will notice that in terms of amount of money they have taken from the ordinary Ghanaian is 27.2 billion Ghana cedis. 27.2 billion Ghana cedis. If you are to factor tax increases to the scenario.
He's also accusing government of channeling resources meant for some statutory funds into other sectors of the economy.
Statutory funds such as District Assembly Common Fund, National Health Insurance Fund, levy, go to your assemblies and find out, those of you who are MPs, nothing is happening in our assemblies. Nothing is happening in assemblies because they do not have the resources. The government before we left office, we were giving them 7.5% of tax revenue, total revenue. They decided to reduce it to 5% of total revenue. In fact, they have decided to take approximately 7 billion Ghana cedis from the District Assembly Common Fund alone. No wonder the assemblies are on its heels. And the third one is the National Health Insurance. National Health Insurance. They are not getting what they are supposed to get.
And to end the bulletin, the Ministry of Energy has directed the Petroleum Commission to evaluate the opportunities and risks the implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement could present to the upstream petroleum sector. The Free Trade Agreement is expected to come into force by middle of next year, and Ghana is hosting the Secretariat. Addressing the 6th Local Content Conference and Exhibition in Takoradi, Deputy Energy Minister Mohamed Amin said enforcing local content requirements within a free trade area should be a matter of priority.
Various players within the upstream petroleum sector have gathered here in Takoradi for the 6th Local Content Conference and Exhibition, which is scrutinizing the progress made so far with the implementation of local content policies. Now, it has become especially important because next year would see the implementation of the Continental Free Trade Agreement, and that could also pose some challenges. While addressing the opening of the conference, the Deputy Minister of Energy, Mohamed Amin Adam, called for an assessment of the opportunities and the risks presented by the implementation of the Continental Free Trade Agreement.
Countries with local content initiatives aimed at accelerating the capacity of their people and businesses have greater opportunity to access the bigger regional continental market. On this note, let me take the opportunity to direct the Petroleum Commission to begin to evaluate the opportunities and threats the Africa Continental Free Trade Area presents to Ghana's local content implementation.
Meanwhile, the Petroleum Commission has announced tough sanctions for indigenous firms found fronting for foreigners. Acting CEO Egbert Fable made the announcement today.
The era of fronting is about to end. Beginning next year, the Commission, working with other state actors, including the Registrar General's Department and the Ghana Revenue Authority, will begin the enforcement of the relevant laws, including tax assessments on the basis of one's equity participation and hence profit sharing, revocation of operating permits and non-issuance of permits to indigenous Ghanaian companies and their partners who are proven after thorough investigations to have engaged in fronting. Let me therefore use this opportunity to advise all those engaged in fronting to put a stop to it immediately.
About 60 companies are participating in this year's Local Content Conference and Exhibition, and the conference is hosting participants from countries like Brazil, Mozambique, Nigeria, and Trinidad and Tobago. Darryl Kwao, Joy Business, Takoradi.
And with that report from Darryl Kwao, we bring to an end the bulletin. But, of course, the show has only just begun. We're about to bring you all the headlines from the newspapers. Mamavi joins us for that. Stay exactly where you are.